Hey guys, it's Aunt Tanny again. I just wanted to read you another story. Now this story is brand new. It's a book that just got written. It is by my friend's brother named Brent Vernon, and it is called The Gingerbrood. See the gingerbread cookies? Yeah, that's where they get their name from. Alright, so just as an early Merry Christmas present, I'm going to read this to you. I love picture books still. It might have been the recipe, but no one really knows. Perhaps the wrong ingredient? What do you suppose? What would cause the ginger folk upon a cookie sheet to sit up straight, to look around, to move their hands and their feet? Regardless how it happens, no matter what the cause, those ginger cookies jumped right up as poor old Mrs. Claus began to shriek and holler like she never had before, and watched her cookies leap right off the pan and onto the floor. Through the kitchen door they ran, then through the dining room, but Mrs. Claus was close behind them brandishing a broom. "Stop right now," she pleaded with them. "Oh, please don't run away. I need you boys to be dessert for dinner on Christmas Day." "No disrespect," called Garrison, the leader of the brood. "It's true that we're delicious, but we'll never be your food. We aim to keep our heads on straight, these arms and legs intact. You'll never catch us, Mrs. Claus, and that's a ginger fact." Hopping to a nearby bench, then to a window ledge, the Ginerbrood repeated what would be their token pledge. "We aim to keep our heads on straight, these arms and legs intact. You'll never catch us, Mrs. Claus, and that's a ginger fact." Here are the gingerbread men running away from Mrs. Claus. Sliding through the window and out into the frozen nights, the batch of cookies hit the ground and ran with all their might. But when they reached the edge of town and stopped to take a rest, they heard a voice behind them say, "Well, honeys, I'll be blessed." See their little footprints? The cookies whirled around to see a lady made of snow. Beneath the waltzing northern lights she cast an eerie glow. "I'm not of flesh and blood," she said. "I'm icy cold and white. Nonetheless, my sugar treats, I have an appetite." Oh my, the cookies knew exactly what she meant. They sprang right into action, and away they went. "We aim to keep our heads on straight, there's arms and legs intact. You'll never catch us, Flaky Jane, and that's a ginger fact." Leaving tiny footprints in the smell of ginger spice, they sprinted over banks of snow and skidded across the ice. Well, after a while, they came upon a narwhal having tea. "Hop on my back," the narwhal smiled. "Come take a ride with me." "Let's go with him," said Crumbly Dan, the smallest of the brood. "I like his style, but most of all, I like his attitude." "Not so fast," said Garrison. "There's something fishy here, something quite suspicious in that silly grin, I fear." "Oh, please!" the narwhal snapped at them and rolled his bulgy eyes. Just like that they saw behind his courteous disguise. "Let's get this over with," he growled, his voice was mean and brusque. "I want a cookie shish kebab right here upon my tusk." Suddenly he lunged at them with all the strength he had. The cookies leapt away in time, but they were scared so bad that as they scampered across the ice, their voices shook and cracked. "You'll never catch us, Fancy Fins, and that's a ginger fact." Back on the land, the cookies finally had a chance to rest. "I've had it, boys," said Crumbly Dan. "I'm grumpy and depressed. My legs are numb, my toes are awry, just don't feel so great. I think that we'd be better off on Santa Claus's plate." "Never!" shouted Garrison. "We mustn't give up now. Some tender-hearted soul will come and rescue us somehow." But as he spoke, a thick and gloomy fog was rolling in, and none of them knew where they were or even where they'd been. So there they stood bewildered in the silence, in the mist, till Crumbly Dan broke down and blurted, "Why do we exist?" Before the others had a chance to speak or even think, they heard the sound of sleigh bells, and their hearts began to sink. "It's Santa Claus," said Garrison. "He's come for his dessert. Let's stay together, brothers. Be prepared and be alert." But none of them were quite prepared for what would happen next. If anything, it left them more confused and even more perplexed. A fleet of reindeer from the sky broke through the hazy gray. They gathered up the gingerbrood and whisked them all away. "Hold on tight now, fellows," said the captain of the fleet. "It's gonna be a bumpy ride. Be sure to take a seat." They're riding on the reindeers. Soaring through the starry sky, the cookies held their breath, feeling halfway mystified and halfway scared to death. The air was bitter cold and yet somehow grew colder still when Crumbly Dan spoke up to ask, "Y'all have a living will?" Back in Santa's dining room, too tired to run away, the cookies wondered fearfully, what would the big man say? But Santa's eyes were merry, and his face was soft and kind. "It's good to see you, boys," he smiled. "Now here is what's on my mind. I want us to be pals," he said. "I like to make amends, and there's one thing I never do, I never eat my friends. It's clear that you are made for more than any of us knew, and in that light I have a very special job for you." Ever since that joyous night, these cookies can be seen on Santa's largest Christmas tree, a massive evergreen, the loveliest of ornaments, the most amusing too. There's not a batch of cookies more in love with what they do. So when you feel discouraged and your energy is gone, remember that you matter and you must keep holding on. Yes, someone cares about you, and with this we must conclude, you have a special purpose, kind of like the Gingerbrood. The end. Alright, Lily, I hope during this Christmas you remember how beautiful, how special, how intelligent and wonderful you are, and how God has made you for a special purpose, and He has a special plan for your life. And I can't wait to see what you and your big heart do to change this world. Love you, baby girl. Bye.